Hello and welcome to The Spread and happy Halloween. I am NESN.com's Mike Cole, aka Al Borland. I guess I tried. Joined as always and once again by Ricky Doyle. Ricky, you're the
Hi,
captain.
Mike. How are we doing?
I'm doing
Or Al, whatever
Al,
you
yeah, well,
you'd like to go as.
So yeah, we tried. I mean, I'm not wearing. These are goggles from a child's play kit.
Sure.
But I'm like a new age Al Borland. You know how like
Yeah,
the
you
kids
are.
wear like the fanny packs around their necks now
Yep.
or whatever. That's me with my tool set.
You did have like other glasses on a little while ago too. I thought you were gonna start the show with those, which were like cat glasses or something. So you're kind of like Al Borland in disguise. More or less.
That makes more sense. And not a very good disguise considering.
Yeah.
I mean, Al Borland's trademark flannel. It's hard to, or it's easy to spot. But we are here
Al Borland looks great nowadays, by the way.
He does. Richard Karn,
Yeah,
good friend of
He
mine.
always looks good. He
Uh,
aged well.
he has aged well.
I'd love to bring him on here sometime.
He must live a great life too. Just kind of
yeah.
quiet, secluded. He's got a bunch of ladders. He does all right for himself. Feels like. Yeah. So that's a quick check-in on Richard Karn, aka Al Borland. We're here to make our Week 8 NFL picks. As always, we'll do 3 respective favorite picks.
Yeah, I almost forget mine because we were so caught up in the props.
You can
and
pull those off. Yeah.
We had our Target trip the other day to really spruce up the set this week.
We did our best.
Tried to. It was
it's
a great
a lot
little
going on.
trip to Target though, because we ran into an old coworker and who I think we both like.
Yes.
A good former coworker. Yep. You know what the best thing he said was too when we
What
ran
is
into him was that he's like I keep buying pumpkins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, does that happen frequently? Do people just go to the store and they like,
I think once you got
God
a couple
damn
of them, it feels
they
like
got me again. they did it. He's building his own patch in his backyard out in
Yeah,
Billerica,
that's a good
Mass.
question. He's like, yeah, I mean, I think you've got a pretty good idea of how many pumpkins you need. I mean, you're not going to
Yeah, they
just find new
keep
spots
they
to put
keep
pumpkins.
hooking them in. But anyway,
yeah, so, we'll get into it. There's our pumpkin. I'm trying to decide if I want to get into story time now. Not. I guess with the mouse glasses is a good. I'll run you. Let me get your ideas.
Okay,
Of what we're going on here. So, I mean, we live in a house. It's near the woods, kind of. It's not in the city, but it's not in the middle of nowhere. Got a little bit of a mouse problem in the house. Finally broke down. Called an exterminator. Working through it. The other night, I found I've got in my basement, which is also kind of like a garage. There's some rocks where one level of it meets the other.
Sure.
Something has dug a hole into that, burrowed up from underneath, I believe. No idea what I've got in my house. So I have my own little haunted house right
you
now.
have something, yeah.
I'm hoping it's mice. Talked to the exterminator today, and he was like, I hope it's mice.
Yeah, that's it. If it is, that's an easy fix.
Sure. If not,
that's quick.
I got a world of hurt on my problem. So I was in my finished basement, lived the life of luxury.
Sure, I've been on Zoom calls with you. I know.
That's true. Yep.
Teams.
You hit enough of these picks, you can afford a finished basement. I was down
It was
there.
a little cold when you're down there, though. The temperature.
It's just we got a gas stove that we haven't fixed. I don't want to blow up the house. But maybe I do if there's if it's being overrun by
big month
friggin' voles or moles or chipmunks. So like I said, I got my own little haunted house down there. I was down doing laundry the other day. I stopped for a second, looked down, and we got a little shoe rack. We pile them up, and up from underneath the shoe rack was staring me in the eyes. It looked like a mouse. I'm hoping it was a mouse. It was brown, had bigger eyes. I don't know if it was a mouse. It took off, scared the living bejesus out of me. I do not like mice. They are a scary thing for me. If they were
really,
I need a cat.
They don't really bother me, but they're just kind of a pain in the ass.
So my biggest, I wouldn't put this one of my biggest fears, but my biggest fear is snakes. So if we're talking ghoulish Halloween things, I don't want to run into.
You ever see you ever randomly see like the like memes of like a snake coming up your toilet?
Yeah,
or whatever,
right. Well, maybe there's a snake burrowing through my.
Maybe
it's a snake hole.
Oh god,
that would be really bad news. But then it would be eating the mice, so I'm torn. Anyway, I hate snakes because the way they move, and like mice, very
suspicious.
They move normally, but they come out of nowhere and they just like, whoo! It's like tickles
with
your
them,
feet.
it's more agility than the snake is just they're just lying and waiting and they're.
So basically, a long way of tying this in is I've got the cat glasses on. Maybe My wife's been pushing for a cat. I said, no, I don't want to do that, but we're paying $500 for an external race, so I really need to hit my picks this week. That's for sure.
You guys do the lights and decorations and the such?
Yeah, I mean, in a tasteful way, upper class, high class way.
You're not like a 12-foot skeleton guy.
No, there's no we're not inflating stuff. No, it's very tasteful.
You're scaring the absolute crap out of all the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we have
severed limbs.
No, we're not doing that.
Fountains.
Moderate amount of pumpkins. Not on a pat level of pumpkins. Just very tasteful, rich upper class suburb type of thing.
Try to fit in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, so this, I mean, it's the 24th. We kind of wrestle on whether we want to do this before or after Halloween. Well, this gives us a little more time. We'll check back in next week.
Sure.
Quick, hey, how was Halloween type of situation. But looking forward.
Yeah,
trying to eat better.
Sucks for anybody who's listening on just listening to the podcast rather than actually
because they're
viewing this illustrious setup that we have. That I don't even know how much to see of it.
I know, yeah.
Probably
Plus,
you're just stupid skipper hat.
You're hammering why is this guy wearing just orange goggles? You're just hammering the 30-second skip ahead button.
Right.
There's YouTube commenters being like, will you guys just shut up and get to the games?
Oh.
I suppose we could do that. Would you like to get into our
let's
picks?
do that.
We'll
circle back. We'll do a little trick-or-treating.
Yeah, we've got some stuff towards the end.
Got some big things lined up, so stick around.
Yeah, exactly. What's your 3-unit play?
3-unit play. What is
week
my
8 in the
NFL?
Play? We're not going to do records. It didn't go well for me. I think I had 2 wins, so.
All right. My 3-unit play for week 8 of the 2023 NFL season.
Finally.
I'm going to take the Lions, laying 8 points on Monday night, hosting the Raiders. Obviously, the Lions just getting their teeth kicked in by the Ravens, which I got to say, that was a disappointing effort. That was, going into that game, that was one where either team had an opportunity to show you something.
Yes.
And for me, I think I wanted to see it more from the Lions because even regardless of how that game played out, I would have been high on Baltimore. For them, they're always sort of there at the end of the year. I wanted to see a statement win from the Lions. It did not go that way.
No.
You really can't ask for a softer landing spot than this, though. Raiders, obviously a mess of their own right. Not sure really what we're going to be looking like from a quarterback situation, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell. I don't know if it really matters in this matchup. Lions wrote this in our pick column last week. As good as their offense has been for the majority of the season, I think it's their defense that's been even more impressive, just the improvement they've made on that side of the ball. But yeah, getting back home this week on Monday night, I mean, Jared Goff in that offense, obviously much better at home. This is a good ATS team under the Dan Campbell, Jared Goff combo. It also just feels like maybe a Jahmyr Gibbs coming out game. I know it's probably be the second week in a row that he's sort of getting a full workload after David Montgomery's injury. Vegas 31st in rush EPA and success rate. Raiders allow 7th most yards after the catch, while the Lions have the 4th most yards after the catch. So I think you could see a lot of dinking and dunking down the field and just carving up this Raiders defense. This just seems like a very easy landing spot if you're the Lions coming off that loss last week.
Yeah, I wonder if the Lions are any good, or if they're as good as we think they are. Because anytime they've played, they've played 3 really good teams, 3 good teams. The Chiefs were without Chris Jones and Travis Kelce in week 1, so I kind of throw that one out.
Yeah,
they've lost 2 games against decent opponents with Seattle and Baltimore. But this feels like a perfect, they're just going to beat the piss out of bad teams.
Yeah, I still...
they might be like the Ravens of 5 years ago.
I still have them in that second tier of NFC teams. Whereas going into last week, they had a real opportunity to jump up.
Yeah.
To, maybe jump into that first tier. Now they're teetering on the edge of tier 2 and tier 3, whereas with a good performance, they would have been teetering on the edge of tier 1 and tier 2.
Sure.
So
I almost trust them more in this spot than a Kansas City or Philly, teams that know that they're good enough to
play with
win.
their food a little bit.
Yeah, and they're just we're waiting to get to December or January.
If you're the Lions, you have to come out.
This isn't get right, beat the
kick ass this week, right? Yeah. So to your point, if you're the Chiefs, it's just the track record. It is what it is. Maybe they'll just mess around for a little bit and they'll end up winning by 6.
There's not as much cruise control for the Lions.
Exactly. Yeah.
My 3-unit play, I'm taking. I'm going to the Battle of the Meadowlands. Taking the Jets, laying 3 on the road against the Giants. These 2 teams share a home stadium, so that's the joke.
Tough commute.
Yeah. I think it's a good schedule spot for the Jets. They're coming off a bye. So that helps. And this is a break in competition. Like the Jets this year have played Buffalo, Dallas, Patriots, Chiefs, Denver stinks, Philly. Those are 4 of the top 10 teams by DVOA. The Giants, by comparison, rank 31st in DVOA. I think this is a tenet or an idea that young teams tend to do well. Younger quarterbacks tend to do well coming off the bye. I would put the Jets in that spot, although I guess you could technically put the Giants in that spot too. Well, the Giants are coming off a bye, so that's why. The Jets have a little bit of mojo going, maybe. I don't know. Like
feels like it.
Salah's done a good job.
You know?
Yeah, I think they probably look at the fact that Rodgers is trying to get back, and maybe that gives them some hope that this season isn't lost. Zach Wilson, to his credit, has looked far more competent against Kansas City and Denver in those 2 weeks before the bye than he has really at any other point in his career. And also, you look at if you go back the last 4 weeks, only Miami and Chicago have had better rushing attacks by EPA over that time than the Jets. Giants for the season ranked 29th run defense by EPA. It looks like Breece Hall is finally completely healthy. Did you see his tweet yesterday though?
Oh, no.
He's like, "For my ACL 1 year ago today," but everybody was freaking out reading like the first 3 words of that. But he's, that's full recovery time. He looks like he's running well. Dalvin Cook looking like a trade candidate. Whatever. Either way, they can run the ball. Giants can't stop the run. That's not even to mention the fact that the Jets have an elite defense and the Giants can't do anything offensively, whether it's Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor. You look at last week, the Giants win that game 14-7 against the Commanders. Certainly not impressive in a game that they absolutely had to hold on for dear life for. So this is, again, what's basically a neutral field. 3 points. I think the Jets are a far better team, even without Rodgers, than the Giants. So I'll lay the 3 with the technically a road team.
That Giants-Commanders game was like exactly what you'd expect from those.
And I laid
who's going to give this game away?
Yeah, so that's mine. What's your 2-unit play?
2-unit play. I'm going to take Bears are traveling to LA to face the Chargers. I'm going to take under 46.5. This is kind of just trying to go against the grain a little bit with Tyson Bagent playing his, presumably getting his second start here out of D2 Shepherd University.
Are you familiar with his father?
His father, the professional arm wrestler, the arm wrestling champion. This is entering like Chris Hogan, lacrosse, Julian Edelman quarterback territory.
Did you see the interview he did at like the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl or whatever, with Pelissero?
Yeah,
not a guy I would be friends with. I don't think so.
The father.
Yeah, the father. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be friends with him either, to be honest.
Oh, really?
He seems like kind of a hardo too.
Is it because his name's Tyson?
Well, no, the name doesn't do him any favors. But when somebody asked him like, "Would you be doing if you what was your backup plan if you were an NFL quarterback?" Said he'd just do a bunch of CrossFit, get his jack boss. So I don't know. That's what. So
good for him.
Period. That's the end. That's what I'm basing my take on.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
But no, I mean, you get the 1 week of NFL film now after last week.
How much did he play the week before? Not to keep interrupting.
Not
a ton. So it's like full film.
And he sucked.
Now. Yeah, that's true.
All I know is he coughed up the first snap that he played. So, I mean, they handled him with kid gloves. Yes, which is understandable. I just think you're gonna have a harder time doing that against the Chargers than you are against the Raiders. Look, they put up 30 points against the Raiders, but only averaged 4.7 yards per play. That would be 24th in the NFL if you're extrapolating that over the whole season. Vegas turned the ball over 3 times. In order to get that cover, there were 2 very late touchdowns as well, one on each side. I just feel like this is. I know the Chargers defense stinks.
Yeah.
But when you're going from Patrick Mahomes to Tyson Bagent, I got to think that the game might slow down for you a little bit. So I think the Chargers are probably going to get theirs in terms of points. I just have concerns about whether Chicago is going to hold up to its end of the bargain to get over that number. I could also just see a scenario too, like the one thing about the Chargers, like that pass rush is underperformed this season, but the talent's there. Like we saw it a few weeks ago with Khalil Mack when he had the 6th sack. Like I could see this turning into a game like that where they flush to this kid, make you realize kind of what he is against superior company. Yeah, under 46.5, mostly based on the fact that the Bears aren't going to hold up their end offense.
I have nothing to add.
Because I don't feel comfortable necessarily
on...
laying 8.5 points at the Chargers based on what I've seen. That's why I'm steering towards the total here.
Fair. To that point, we're going to get a little uncomfortable with some totals here now, I think. My 2-unit play, I'm taking the under in the Seattle-Cleveland game. It's set at 40. Go under that. I don't love it, but I just...
Taking an over these days is like...
Well, I was going to look that up.
Buckle up and hope for the... Like, every time I take an over, I just feel like, if I'm watching another game, I check the score, it's like, you're going into the half at 7-3, and you're just like, all right, I completely shot.
Yeah, so actually, it's a fair point. I was going to look this up. I was using some of this information for various things I've done in the past couple of weeks. This is from Warren Sharp. Through 6 weeks, the average combined points per game was 43.4, which is technically up from last year, but it's down 4 points from 2021 and down 7 points from 2020, which makes sense. There wasn't crowd noise, but still, I think through week 6 in 2018, saw 328 passing touchdowns. Seen 245 this year through 6 weeks. So a drop.
I was gonna say, we've been doing this for several years now, and there was a time where it was the complete opposite.
Yes,
with us.
exactly.
Like, it was, if you were taking an under, it must be a blizzard.
Yeah,
the wind must be howling because
or somebody's
otherwise,
hurt. That
because otherwise that was a risky proposition.
But I'm leaning into it now. So I'm taking the under in the Seattle-Cleveland game, under 40. Seattle, since week 3, counting week 3, they gave up 31 points in week 2 in Detroit. Since then, they are first in defensive EPA across the league. That includes the Cleveland, which is first for the entire season. It seems like they've done a really good job. Really not too much surprise given the track record, but Pete Carroll and just that front office drafting, getting guys into that defensive system. It seems like they may be ahead of schedule. You look at Cleveland; they need to run the ball to have success. They've run for an average of 150 yards in their 4 wins. Seattle ranks 3rd in the NFL in opponents' yard per carry, 8th in EPA run defense. It doesn't look like Deshaun Watson's going to play. I mean, if he does, there's no reason to believe he's going to be effective because he really hasn't pretty much his entire run in Cleveland. If he can't go and they got to go PJ Walker, he's been atrocious. 23.4 QBR, would be the worst in the league if he were qualified. You look at what Seattle, their offense on the other side of the ball, their wins have come against Detroit, Carolina, the Giants, and the Cardinals. The 9th, 30th, 23rd, and 31st ranked defenses by DVOA. Cleveland's number 1. Seattle also has injuries in the offense. DK Metcalf missed last week. I guess if he does come back, he'll probably be a little hampered by that. They have 2 interior offensive linemen who missed last week. Again, same situation. Maybe they'll come back, but how much are they going to be operating at? And that's going up against a defense run by Jim Schwartz that absolutely loves to stunt. We talked about stunting last week, so that could be an issue when you can't communicate or you just don't have as much talent in the middle. So I just think this is 20-14. So.
That is a very strange effort by Cleveland.
They were
particularly on defense.
They were very good for 95% of the game, but they gave up 80-yard touchdowns.
It depends on what, if you're washing dishes and you had that game on in the background.
Right,
it depended on when you looked out of the corner
That's
of your eye.
exactly what happened to me.
You would think they were either the 85 Bears or just one of these run-of-the-mill.
Literally, I was washing dishes. I looked back, and I was like, it's 39-38?
Yeah, how did this happen?
Yeah,
it is very, very strange. That was actually, for picks on the show last week, that was the one that I lost. Took the under in that game.
Yeah, missed it slightly.
I think they both almost hit the over on their own. And I think I don't know if they hit it by halftime or it was kind of close. So.
Yeah. Well, at least it gives you time to do some dishes.
So I talk about the uneasiness of taking an over.
Yeah.
And that happened to be one of the games where you wouldn't have broke a sweat.
Fair. So. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's nice.
What's your 1 unit play?
It's nice to be on the wrong end of that.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned getting uncomfortable with some of these totals. I'm going to take an under, and this is it's a very low total. We're looking at 36.5. Atlanta and Tennessee. These are 2 teams. Atlanta 6-1 to the under this year. Tennessee 5-1 to the under. And that's despite these 2 teams have had relatively low totals throughout the course of the year. Atlanta's defense, I'm hesitant to call it underrated for the simple fact that the level of competition hasn't been great. Their wins, Carolina, Green Bay, Houston, Tampa, teams with middle of the road at best offenses. In a couple cases, very poor offense. But there is some evidence to suggest that it's a fairly decent unit, particularly when they do face those weak offenses, which I think I could put Tennessee into that category, especially with their quarterback situation right now. Atlanta is the number 8 overall defense according to Pro Football Focus. Very strong against the run. Al Boylan, you want to get out there and help? Somebody's on the tool bench out there. It sounds like
needed. Yeah,
yeah.
It's like a good thing I got my.
You throw your goggles on in case something breaks out. Heidi, where's Heidi? So Atlanta, very strong against the run, which I think that plays into the matchup here. I think Tennessee obviously going to try to run the ball. 5th highest rush percentage in the NFL. So if they're not able to do that, it could be a long day for that Tennessee offense. I lean towards the under. I would probably lean Atlanta if I'm picking a side, but I'll roll with the under for this because I do have concerns about the Atlanta offense as well. And we have seen in the past that like Tennessee, even when the deck's sort of stacked against them, they pull games out of their ass. So this could be one of those. Like this is a classic game of like Atlanta loves to try to give the game away, where Tennessee loves to try to take it from you. Could be a red zone game too. I mean, like this is Atlanta and Tennessee, 22nd and 30th respectively in red zone offense, 5th and 3rd respectively in red zone defense. I don't know. I think we're going to see this throughout the course of the season. Really, it's been a theme with Atlanta where these spreads are like 2.5, 2 points, 1.5, and it's kind of a coin flip situation. So, like I said, I'm leaning under here because I just think the game flow is going to dictate such. But I might sprinkle a little something on Atlanta by the time the game rolls around.
Fair.
Could be just another one of those like boring, ugly games between teams in the South Division, respective conference.
It doesn't even look like when you look at the logos. It doesn't even. All right, I'm gonna take it over for my 1 unit play. Right. Taking the over on the Chiefs Broncos game. The number's currently at 46. I think 35 of it comes from the Chiefs, and I was just too much of a coward to lay the points, so I'll just take the total. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Mahomes, coming out of that Jets Sunday night game, missed a lot of throws, almost didn't look healthy. The offense didn't seem to be humming. Since that game, he's completed 76% of his passes, thrown 7 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. At 111.5 passer rating. His EPA/CPOE, completed percentage over expected rate, he's far and away the best quarterback in the NFL over this 3-week stretch. So he seems to be back to being Superman. The Denver defense is okay against the run, horrendous against the pass. I think this is, go let him throw it 50 times. And I don't know what happened exactly the last time these two teams met, why the Chiefs weren't able to score more points. But I have to imagine they're going to make adjustments after it was score 19-8. I think it's going to be a little more high scoring this time, even in Denver.
Covered.
For as good as the KC offense has been, they've allowed at least 17 points in 3 of the last 4 games. Granted, the one time that they didn't was against Denver, but I just need Denver to get me 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 points. I think they could do that. I watched a lot of that Denver game last week. It doesn't look good offensively, but maybe there's a little bit of improvement. Yeah. I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I don't like it. Because I looked up.
They don't trade away their entire team before this.
That's a fair point. But no, I think this is the Chiefs get to
maybe you do hope they trade away their
entire team. That's fair. Yeah, the Chiefs get to 50. 30, 35 points. Rashee Rice has been really good find or whatever you want to call it for them. And Kelsey, I think, probably goes off here.
I had a buddy text me this the other day. With Kelsey, does it not feel like he's wide open on every single play?
Yeah, I mean,
for 8 years straight,
he's good and they're smart. Makes sense.
I feel like with him, the yards are going to be there, the catches are going to be there, but so few of those feel contested. It just feels like they always get him the ball in space, and it speaks to the offensive ingenuity. Good for them. Just
running wild.
That you're able to take advantage of his talent like that. But it's just wild to me that just watch a game, man, you probably should have paid more attention to him, huh?
You would think.
Call me crazy.
They don't call you the skipper for nothing.
No, they don't. By the way, how about this pipe?
That's a legit.
This is it's not a real pipe. I'll own up to it. You know, it's the Party City Gentleman's Pipe Adult Novelty. By the way, Party City.
Women can't smoke that pipe.
Good point. Good point.
Be an ally.
Party City, like when it comes Spirit Halloween or whatever. I was thinking about this when I was in there rummaging around to find crap to throw together and whatever. It'd be a tough month to have a birthday.
Oh.
You go in there, like you look for a cloth plate.
There's nothing in there?
There is, but it's just such a very small section of the place.
Not to mention you gotta deal with idiots like you looking for.
Yeah, so you gotta deal with me looking for pipes.
Once
you gotta deal
guys
with like
coming through,
you know, severed limbs and slasher masks.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
And meanwhile, you're like, I'm just looking for a 60th birthday balloon.
That's a fair point.
I don't get any, but anyways,
the good people over at our sponsor this week.
But
they are not our sponsor.
It's fake.
You gave
it. We should be able to smoke on this.
I'm open to it.
I mean, why not? Right?
You do whatever you want. I mean,
what's the
worst that could happen? The fire alarm.
I was
gonna
say we've already crossed that bridge.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
All right, let's get into our monster mash.
Come in here, it's not ripping chill sticks, making picks. Be sick.
What do you want to do here? This was your idea, basically. Well, we kind of put our heads together. So we're just gonna do a little, zip around the league, a little Halloween talk, a little trick or treat of our own.
Little known fact about NESN that we have a jack-o'-lantern.
Just turn it around.
I don't know where I'm on. Little known fact: we have a jack-o'-lantern cupboard in the break room.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there actually, but for a few years there was a underneath like one of the sinks. It was specifically labeled jack-o'-lantern. So you had your utensils, your tea.
There's no
cups.
goddamn tea, but they're jack-o'-lanterns.
And you had just jack-o'-lantern. So we took advantage of that. Secured one of these last year. It's been up on my desk ever since. And now we're going to put it to use.
All right.
Do a little trick-or-treating.
Yep. So we're just going to put our hands in, pull something out?
Yeah, so we went around. We canvassed the office.
Solicited the rest
We've got Halloween-themed NFL questions.
But we don't know what's in these.
That's why it's trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treat?
We don't know. It could be trick. It could be treat. Combination of the two. I don't know. Who the hell knows? But anyways, they're in these nice little eggs.
Because when you think Halloween, you think eggs.
Well, we can paint them pink next spring when we do our Easter episode, off-season edition, free agency fallout.
Other stuff in there.
I didn't know you had other crap.
I guess, yeah.
All right. So, anyways, questions. They're all NFL related, I think.
Maybe.
From what I was told. So yeah, you want to kick things off? We'll fly through them. We'll rapid fire, give our response.
All right.
They're eggs shaped like.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're eggs shaped like pumpkin. Eggs shaped like pumpkin.
But you listening on Spotify is go ahead and discuss.
You're not listening anyway. All right. This is a would you rather.
Okay.
Would you rather spend 1 minute trying to evade? That means avoid, perhaps get away from.
Yeah.
A chainsaw wielding maniac, or spend 3 hours in a stadium suite with Jackson Mahomes.
1 minute, you said?
You're running away with a guy, basically chainsaw Charlie for 1 minute.
That's I think I got a minute. How confined is this space? Is there any qualifiers that I need to be aware of?
That's a good. It has to be.
Like if we're doing it in Studio D, like
you got no shot.
1 minute that'll be tough. But if we want to go to the bigger studio, go to the parking lot or something.
Yeah, I think inside a basketball gym at like the Y.
Okay. I can definitely smoke for a minute. I can definitely do laps.
I just can't do Jackson Mahomes. There's no shot. And you got to think too. The food's got to be great up there. The drink, the view of the game is perfect. You're probably watching the Chiefs. But I guess it's just like you and him. I guess
all you have to do in that situation is tune him out, right?
I can't focus.
I'm just not good at that. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Though. Like you and I don't think are great at that. Like we deal with a lot of commotion over the course of a given week,
and we complain about it.
We do a lot of complaining about it.
That's fair.
So
I'm gonna put my life on the line just so I don't have to deal with that.
I hate to say it, but I'm with you. A chance, like in I don't know. I could.
What's your issue with Jackson Mahomes?
He's like annoying.
Too in your face. He's always
annoying at best and a scumbag at worst.
That's a fair point.
Like, he's actually like not a good person.
Don't want to go to a restaurant.
I do not want to associate with. That's the thing. It's like,
at least you're
for the rest of your life, you got to live with being the one who, like, I saw you hanging out with Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, you're in the TikTok with Jackson Mahomes.
Whereas you survived the chainsaw thing. That's a badge of honor.
It's a great, like, I tell you what, you get a new job and it's, hey, tell us something about yourself. It's like, well, I survived a minute in the gym with a chainsaw.
Sure. Next holiday when you're at the veggie plate, you're dipping your carrot sticks and you're like, let me
tell you a story.
Let me bring back October of 2023.
Were these cut with a chainsaw? Let me tell you.
There you go. So all
right.
I'll take my chances.
I guess we're a little bit of consensus there. All right, what's the next one? You want to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great shot.
Fumble.
Fumble.
Hopping out big time. Let's see. Who will have the bigger Week 8 scare? The Eagles or the Ravens? The Eagles are...
Talk about a couple scary birds there.
Scary. Ooh, very spooky birds.
I guess Ravens are scary. Eagles not so
Actually, Eagles are very majestic.
I guess if you're a mouse, maybe I can get an eagle.
Hate freedom.
Yeah, then you're maybe afraid.
Maybe that's the case.
What was the question? I apologize.
So bigger Week 8 scare. Who's going to have it? The Eagles or the Ravens? So, yeah, the Eagles are, going to the nation's capital, face the Commanders.
Yep.
Ravens going to the desert, going to face the Cardinals.
I think Eagles technically 6.5-point favorites. Ravens maybe 8.5-point favorites against the Cardinals, which is kind of funny that we didn't include the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals are not scary birds.
Oh, they're just there.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out.
In fact, some people believe a cardinal is a reincarnated dead person.
Sure, they are. If nothing else, they're photogenic.
Fair, yeah.
Everybody loves keeping a cardinal out the window.
It's the Eagles. I don't think this one's even that difficult. I guess just by the point spread, that tells you that it's the Eagles. But it's a divisional game on the road. Those are always tough. I know the Commanders are a mess, but Philly, despite an impressive Sunday night win, still some questions. Jalen Hurts is a little banged up as well, if I'm not mistaken.
With the brace.
So you got that pass rush coming after you. I guess for me, I'll take the Eagles.
This honestly, the more I think about it, might be an outright upset, little letdown spot. I might venture to say that, because have you seen the Eagles schedule after this?
No.
So they got this week, and then they host the Cowboys. Yep. Then they go on their bye. Then they're at Kansas City on Monday night. Then they play Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas again, and Seattle. You're going to learn a lot about this Eagles team over the next several weeks.
Tell you what, too, the Commanders are no strangers to costume changes. So they feel right at home this time.
Very much true. It's very much true.
Also, looking at the other game, Arizona, what's-his-face, Dobbs is in that same 3-week time that I was talking about quarterback play.
Yeah.
With Mahomes is way up at the top. Dobbs is very much at the bottom. The bloom is falling off the rose.
Yeah, the Cardinals are who we thought they were.
And Baltimore's defense has been elite. But
these two teams are kind of similar, right? Like the AFC, NFC version of each other. A little Spider-Man meme action. You want to dress that up?
Yeah,
because the offenses hadn't totally looked right until this past week. Sure. Both on their first-year offensive coordinators. Sure. Very good defenses. All coach. Good quarterback. Good mobile quarterbacks.
Fair.
That's why it was my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the year. But
got it.
Who the hell knows?
All right. Let me see. Great job by Liam. Shot.
What do we got?
So it's time for trick or treat this time of year. So we're looking at the trick of the year.
Oh.
Ooh. Which team has failed to meet expectations, or which player?
Ooh.
They're tricks. When you thought they might be treats.
Well, I'm going to say the Broncos defense.
Oh, okay.
To your point earlier. What happened to that unit? That was supposed to be installed, ready to go. Sean Payton comes in, spruces up the offense.
Fix the offense a little bit.
And then you're cooking. Yeah. And, I don't know if either one of us was necessarily high on the Broncos before the season, but you thought it would be better than this, right? And, that defense just sucks to the point where they're Patrick Surtain is in trade rumors. They're already moving on from young players. It's strange.
For me, I'm going to stay in the same division. I'll just take the Chargers overall. I think they were like 25-1 to win the Super Bowl at the start of the year. That's basically makes them a top 10 team. They just haven't been good with chucking pumps. Herbert, it feels like he's regressed. At least, very least, he's been stagnant, and like they are in the middle of his rookie contract where they need to, make right and get right. The extension kicks in, I think, the year after next. So, they still have on their schedule. They go to New York for a Monday night game. Detroit, Baltimore, Buffalo, play the Chiefs again. That team looks like.
How about the trick of the year is just the AFC West? 2 years running. You can talk yourself into it being competitive, and then it belongs to one team and one team only.
The Chiefs/Patriots comparisons continue to evolve, where it's like the AFC
they mount every single week. It seems like.
Yeah. All right.
Go
ahead. Yep. Take some notes of this spooky hand pen.
All right. I gotta say too, like these eggs here, the pumpkin eggs. Some of the faces
don't match up.
This one lines up pretty well.
Yeah.
Needs some dental work though. But for the most part, some of them are a little sloppy. All right, next question from the trick or treat bucket. We got Raven wings. Raven wings. Oh, there's some. We'll dive in there now. Oh, so we just had the trick of the year.
Yep.
Now we're gonna go with the treat of the year.
Oh, okay.
So
what is that?
We're gonna frame this right now as what's one trade deadline deal you'd like to see?
I'm glad you asked me that question.
Giving a contender a treat
because you mentioned this player, you mentioned this team. You even mentioned this player as a trade candidate. Patrick Surtain, the second, former top 10 pick, to the Detroit Lions, a team that has really struggled with some passing offenses at times this year. Seattle absolutely torched them. Obviously, Baltimore torched them last week. Feels like good time for them to go all in. Am I not? Am I right? Yeah.
I like that.
Get a Surtain or somebody like him, a really top-level corner. Get that player to the Lions. I think you're starting to cook gas because I think they've got a very good pass rush up front. The offense obviously can get going. Ben Johnson is a wizard. You need somebody on the outside to kind of slow down some top receivers. So I get Patrick Surtain as a the life side or the defensive version of a king size candy bar for the Detroit Lions. Yeah,
a nice big Snickers or whatever else.
Yes,
a nice Butterfinger. I mean, not Butterfinger. I don't know if that applies. It could be worse. It could be Smarties.
Raisins.
My treat of the year. Give me where are those Raven wings?
Raven wings.
Because I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna go to the AFC, and I'm gonna these Ravens go out and acquire Derrick Henry from the Titans. I don't know that just feels like a good match, right? Like that's a man who runs with attitude.
Derrick Henry's on like all of those lists of like guys who could get traded. I think he's kind of not washed, but doesn't make a ton of sense for a lot of teams. But the Ravens, it kind of does.
It's just like, and this is a deal we want to see, right? Like,
that's a good point.
I'd like to see how that.
It's incredible you came up with that right off the top of your head.
Like you get the mobile quarterback. They're starting to get a little downfield element to them. I think we saw.
They've been great at throwing the ball too. Like so, giving a little more balance.
Zay Flowers has been awesome. Obviously, like their running game, that's kind of keep going to Gus Edwards and. Yeah. It just feels like a Justice Hill. Like these guys that they've been trotting out there for several years now. Get a lead back in there and lean on him. Run with some attitude. That'd be a fun little trade. And these Raven wings. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's just a bottle of wings.
Because that's what you need is a Raven.
I didn't like what you pulled out of it.
Oh, there we go. Maybe. Oh, yeah, there is a piece of paper.
We got.
Oh, costume change.
Oh. All right.
Which costume or uniform will Kirk Cousins wear next year? Kirk Cousins, great performance. I guess good performance on Monday night. Troy Aikman called him a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Hard to argue, I guess, just with how bad the NFL state of quarterbacks is. He's a free agent after the season, or at least he can be. Is he gonna have a new form of address, new place of employment?
I mean, my guess is he stays put. I guess.
Oh, that's very
but,
exciting.
If he is gonna change, what Pittsburgh?
Yeah, if you don't think Kenny Pickett, I mean,
I
they
don't.
need to.
I don't.
The issue with that is they've got to go out and get a new coordinator too. There's no way Matt Canada is.
True. I mean, I have to look to it like cap space and things like that that'll factor into. Maybe what about like Tennessee? Maybe that's a team. We talked about this week they're with Tannehill out there. It sounds like they're going to play both Malik Willis and Will Levis. And Willis it takes a sack. It seems like every time he drops back, and Levis we haven't seen. So that's a team if they think they can win now in that division, then maybe next year they take a look at it, make a little splash. Yeah, I'll say Tennessee.
Okay. Do I go obvious? Well, not obvious. I guess maybe not. San Francisco.
Oh, they've been the Shanahan Cousins.
But the Purdy thing is maybe looks like there's a couple flaws in that.
It's not a given.
Perfect. With, is it worth making the investment in a guy like Cousins to overcome when you don't have everything 100%? Same vein, if Matthew Stafford decides he wants to retire, the Rams make sense? I think so. Here's a dark horse for you. The New England Patriots.
I was thinking of this.
If they move on from Mac Jones, which seems very much possible, I don't put a whole lot of stock into one really good game, despite how good it was against a very good team. I think the Patriots are not going to suck enough to get one of those top quarterbacks. So they're going to be in this weird purgatory. They're probably going to send Belichick packing. So you're starting over, but like not a full restart until you get to. You got to buy some time. I feel like he's a good placeholder type of quarterback to allow them to at least contend or compete in the AFC East. So I think the Patriots will be a dark horse choice for me when it comes to Kirk Cousins.
They're going to have the space to do it too, right? They're projected to have a lot of salary cap space, messing around in free agency with. So, yeah. It's also like it's interesting too because there are like no other quarterbacks that are going to be available for free agency.
Sure, that too, yeah.
I think it's like Baker Mayfield,
he's
Tannehill.
Yeah.
I don't even know who else.
Yeah.
So basically, Cousins are bust. And I don't even know who would be really a trade candidate at this point. I guess if like the Bears move on from Justin Fields.
Brock Purdy when they sign Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, exactly. Son of Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have one more.
We done?
I am.
What do we have?
I'm late for a meeting.
All right.
I think we have one more.
One more.
I think we've got.
All right. What do we got? Last one.
Look like.
All right. The old Halloween hangout. You had to spend one night. Handing out candy. One NFL head coach. Who would it?
Oh my god. So a lot of people, I think you look at. It's very expensive equipment in here. Bill Belichick is an interesting option. People would be like, why would you want to hang out with Bill Belichick? Well, he's rich as all get out, so he's handing out good candy. Maybe you can steal yourself a king-size Butterfinger, as you mentioned earlier. Guy loves Halloween. I actually was rewatching Coach's Life the other day, or Football Life with him, and Randy Moss invites him to the party. He's like, I love Halloween. He's mentioned it before. What's better than candy and costumes and stuff. Showed up as a pirate with his now ex. So he's up there.
As the famous Randy Moss clip.
Yep.
Trying to sell him on the Halloween.
Yeah. I'll be there. I love that. Andy Reid feels like, in between handing out candy, you probably get some ribs or some burgers. That's a good night.
Very good.
I don't know. What do you got? I'm looking at a list of coaches. Pete Carroll, interesting. Does not seem like a candy guy.
No, but he seems like a 12-foot skeleton guy.
That's a fair point.
He'll have some stuff going on, cobwebs.
He's like some
yeah,
going 1,000 miles.
Let's got a haunted house in the basement.
Let's go. You guys want to come in? Let's go.
There's just like he's got things hanging on the walls. Yeah. Like you go to the bathroom,
sit next to that gorilla on the porch.
Something pops out at you. So it's just it's wacky. It's a total haunted house. I don't know. You gotta be on your toes though. That's the thing. You gotta nap.
Well, I could see like a guy like Mike McDaniel being an interesting choice too. Like very schematic.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
maniacally planned. Like in another life, Mike McDaniel, with his obsession over the attention to detail and how smart and how much he sees, like he could be a serial killer. Not to say he is,
Right.
but like there's Saw 14 could be about like Mike McDaniel trying to get out of the room and finding a way to do it. Like I think that he's an interesting cat. Like I think he could have a booby trap front yard that's really gonna mess with the kids.
Yeah.
And you're just laughing your ass. Plus it's in Miami, the weather's gonna be nice. So
yeah, I'm just thinking Pete Carroll's definitely the you go back to the king size candy. He's got the king size.
Who?
Or he's also the one that's like, hey, take two.
Yeah,
like
true.
you reach into the bowl and he's like,
don't tell your mom.
Yeah, don't tell your mom. Don't tell your take.
Is there a guy you wouldn't want to hang out with on Halloween?
Oh,
Arthur Smith is the answer for me, but or like Jonathan Gannon.
That's the first one that came to my mind. I don't know.
Eberflus.
Yeah.
Or like any big names that
This is
Josh McDaniels doesn't seem like he'd be.
actually, yeah, I think Josh McDaniels might be the big.
He's speaking of Halloween, Dead Man Walking.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, we have run way too long.
Yeah. Get out of here. We got a cleanup duty to do.
Yep.
We're smashing pumpkins all over the place.
I've got an episode of Tool Time to get to.
Yeah.
So
I got.
you can go smoke a pipe and get on back
exercise
out
my
on the
right
water.
to
Yeah. So.
Slam some tobacco.
All right. Happy Halloween, Ricky.
You as well, Mike.
Thank you for joining us. Round of applause for you all. We will see you again next week when we are not making complete asses out of ourselves. Goodbye.